What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into Gears Esports Pro League Day number 8. I am Colin the Crow Clark, and I am going to be joined by the one, the only, the magnanimous, the greatest of all time, the GOAT himself. Man might as well have horns climbing on the side of a cliff because he's so god dang good at what he does. Jacob, MVPR, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing great. Fantastic, refreshed. I just spent a week down in Cancun for video games and Ozuna Fest. I got to speak to the man.
Wait, Blaze was
the
there?
legend. No, not Blaze. Actual Ozuna, man. It was crazy. That man loves Gears of War just like the rest of us. And it goes to show that Latin American region does indeed run wild.
It does indeed run wild. Well, look, let's just get right into the meat of things. Yesterday, we had a slate of games that kind of got lopsided in some of these matchups. We got some very noticeable differentiating parts of teams. We got the best out of the likes of Pioneers and eUnited. Oxygen in Pittsburgh, though, that thing went to the wire. And Oxygen, they were looking to snuff out the Knights, and they did just that in a map 5. Rebel, though, they struggle early, but they fixed their mistakes, and then they go on to win the next 3 maps quite succinctly.
Yeah, I mean, I had my heart, my soul onto Rebel. That was kind of me and Blaze's matchup there. Going into that one, we were kind of like tied on the day, but I'm glad to get that win. But I like what you said. That side station match between Oxygen and Pittsburgh, I think that is really telling a ton. It shows that Oxygen is still emerging as one of those teams. They went through a drought, but they're beginning to pick it up. With the Pittsburgh Knights, something is still ailing this roster. You bring in Chaos, hoping for a massive shift in what you're able to do, and you find little moments here and there, but consistency is key, and they don't have it.
Well, if you're looking for consistency, look no further than the teams on top of our standings after the first 7 days. Rise is sitting there at a perfect 6-0. They have dropped some maps, but I think to me right now the most impressive team, Jacob, is Rebel. They're 5-2, but they're in a 4-game win streak here in our Pro League. So they must have started in that 1-2 area where they started out with a really tough part of their schedule and then have racked off 4 straight wins to get to that 5-2 record. Extraordinarily impressive to me. Which team stands out the most to you, though?
I mean, I don't want to go ahead and sound like a copycat, but Rebel has to be one of those teams. But on the other side of that one, I'll go ahead and beat a dead horse for us out there. Rise is the most impressive team this split, and I honestly don't think they're being talked about enough yet. 6-0, a 6-game win streak, and even though they might have a little bit of less win-loss in the map percentage against Noble, they have that head-to-head matchup. So I believe Rise right now, I think they deserve all the credit in the world, especially after some of those roster changes, especially after losing in the major in the fashion that they did, to be able to bounce back and say, hey, this next one is ours. And that's been the same old song and dance for the history of them entering Gears Esports. This one is definitely it.
Well, if you want to talk about having credit go where credit is due, look no further than the man here on the screen with me. Last night, with that win by Rebel over Elevate, Jacob MVPR now stands atop of the caster prediction rankings yet again, all by himself at 14-7. Blaze dropping to that 13-8, but he's tied with me. Blaze, I need you to get one right. I'm at 2 right now. I need to go to 3, baby. I need to get back to the middle of the pack. I know I look like I'm there, but it says I'm tied for second. I like how that feels, Jacob. I'm way too close to being in content contention, all right? I like it.
No, I like it too, man. And even though it's 1 game, that's still above. That's still first place for me. And I'm back to back already. Taylor held on to my trophy after the first one. I said, go ahead. You could take that trophy. You could put it in a box and you could put it 6 feet deep. And then that's when I unleashed this bad boy, right? That's a little upside down, but that's okay because guess what? Ozuna said you could take this. You could throw that out. Back-to-back champion deserves something better, Colin.
Oh, God.
Back-to-back champion. He said, you know what, my man? You deserve the chain of gods. You deserve a trophy. And this man lit me up. Look at this thing weighing me down. I'm like, oh, my God, this is too... Colin, I need help. I got to lift it back up. Ozuna set me up nice.
How do you breathe with that on?
Dude, I need help. He set me up with special insurance just in case my back breaks. He heard Blaze's comment as well, talking about upping the swagger. He said, I got you, my man. He said, don't worry, Papi. And that's what he did. And then next thing you know, I'm carrying home a check bag. I had to pay extra. It was over the weight limit. That's what I gotta say. Me and Ozuna, we go together like white on rice.
And a paper plate in a snowstorm.
Heck yeah.
I'm really like I am. Y'all thought I had Taylor messed up last week. I am dead. There is no part of my brain that works anymore. But look, let's move on into the broadcast schedule because Jacob, he's hoping to keep that chain around his neck firmly for the rest of this season. But he's going to have a tough sled tonight because these 3 games, oh boy, howdy, they set up to be 3 very difficult ones to call from the broadcast station.
Yeah, each and every week it gets that much tighter, and that's why I'm a little bit worried. I won't go ahead and lie to you. I'm ready to act a fool all day long today, but I'm also ready to kind of curse myself in these predictions, and I'm going to get a little help by it. I think so here and there, because these three matches are heavyweight style matchups. These are the only ones that can round out our season. And we always talk about the start, and we always talk about it's how you finish. These teams need to finish strong, Colin, and by God, I hope they do.
Well, we also got a match going on there in the side station. It's going to be Fire and Ice and Hive. I actually looked to try to get into that one. I hate to say it. I would love to get a sneak peek of that match going on that side station because both these teams winless. Both of these teams looking to crack that goose egg. The other one hoping not to have to dial up the one and the only, the legendary Owen. I mean, nobody ever wants to call Owen. All right, no one.
Oh, no.
But when you all of a sudden end up with that 0 in that left-hand column, I'll give you his number. I'll make sure you can dial it up so you can get in touch with Owen, whoever you are at that point, because that's going to be ugly to have at the end of a schedule in a season. But right now, that is your schedule for tonight. That is the games on docket. And let's get right into our first one. It's going to be eUnited versus Elevate. And Jacob, there's a lot that we've talked about so far about both of these squads. But you know what? We can never talk about this first squad enough. Let's bring them in for all of you to see. It's going to be the eUnited roster of Demise, TJ, Kenny, and Powerz.
Yeah, this is one of those squads. Honestly, I had a little doubts here and there. I didn't want to voice them too much. But you take out Explosive and Praise. Those are 2 massive icons in the scene, let alone for this roster. But honestly, I'm not too surprised at the result that we're getting. They have an aggressive style of play led by Kenny Bounce, who's also getting loose. I talk about a lot of these leaders, a lot of these IGLs leading by example. Kenny is one of those leaders. If he needs to get in your face, if he needs to get loose, he will begin to bounce around. And people forget he is one of the founders of the House of Bounce, along with Demo Bounce, some of the leading players when it comes to movement, when it comes to putting players on skates and embarrassing them. Now he has a young roster that I think can kind of elevate their play in the biggest moments of them all. And throughout this split, they've been finding themselves. There have been a few tweaks here and there, a few moments that they come up short in which we didn't expect. But that's just the buildup. That's just the process a lot of these teams have towards this very end. When that major rolls around, when the last bit of matches of the utmost importance are there, they're ready to step up and take charge.
Well, a team that's looking to try to step back up and take a little bit charge of their own is this Elevate roster. They've had a bit of a rocky road after a fantastic start, but Pushyz, Gary, Kardia, and of course Addvers are looking to get back on track tonight against the United. And I'm not going to lie to you, Jacob, I might be the most impressed recently with Addvers and the way he has really stepped up his game. Yep. Even though they took a 3-1 loss last night, there were so many times where I saw Addvers taking a 2v1, taking an extra lane, trying to add damage so somebody else can get a fight win. I'm unbelievably impressed by that guy right now. He's going to need some help, though, out of those two Super Slayers and Pushyz and Gary, especially Gary, who I believe had a very lackluster performance just 24 hours ago.
Yeah, Gary is one of those young guns that I think has all the potential in the world. Very, very similar to Dyslexic on that Noble roster. I just need him to have the experience, to have the reps underneath his belt. It's similar to Dyslexic, similar to Powerz in which he's going up against. He's going to have moments where he's faced with a ton of adversity, possibly make a mistake, possibly come up short and play that can change the course of the game. That was yesterday. That was in the past for Gary, and he needs to know that. This is another moment for him to step up, take charge of the game. He has a leader in Addvers who's been in the grand finals, who's played against the best of the best. Now he needs to go ahead and prove that he can bang out with the best of the best. Elevate is one of those teams throughout all season long to where you don't expect them going up against these big teams to put up as big as a fight, but time and time again, Colin, you can agree with me, they put up one hell of a fight, much more than we can expect them to. And at this point, if you don't think they're going to put up a fight against eUnited in this matchup, you'd be crazy.
Hey, look, you'd be crazy, but somebody else that's looking like they're trying to put up some crazy stats is our player to watch for the first matchup. That's going to be the Kardia himself from Elevate.
Like it.
And if you take a look, he's right there in the middle of the pack, really. You have 10 teams, 4 players a team. You're looking at 40 professional players in Gears Esports right now. You've got that 24th in the KDA, so he's a little lackluster there, but then just over that halfway marker, shining in the top half of our cream. That's going to be the damage per respawn and the damage per execution. It looks like he's trying to put out every bit of help to his teammates that he can. What do you think he can do to maybe elevate those stats just a little bit more in this matchup?
And to me, it's not so much the stats, because you said it yourself. He's doing almost everything right on paper. It's just one of those big moments happens. I think it's him and maybe a little bit of Addvers. They need to collectively come together with their experience and kind of lay down the law. Let the teams know things are going to get rough. Things are going to happen. It's going to get chaotic. It's about sticking to the plan and staying as focused as possible, whether it's defensively setting up and stopping some players in a big control moment, or coming up big in first blood in these executions, or overall controlling the pace of the game in escalation. I think it comes down to that man Kardia on one side of the team and then Addvers on the other. And then you can trickle it down from there when it comes to the role and the situation.
Well, if we're going to find out where he's going to do this damage, we're going to have to take a look at our map selection pool here for our first matchup. And I already love what I'm kind of seeing out of Elevate. They want to create a little bit of chaos. The same map they beat Rebel on, they've gotten there in the first map of the rotation onto Ritual. But then Vasgar, it's a very hard map to control. It's very chaotic. And of course, you get to that map 5 checkout execution. That is a nitty-gritty in-your-face CQC battle. But do you see this working out for Elevate, or do you see this almost falling into the laps of eUnited based on it?
I think this could work out for Elevate. And I say could. I think it would have been better with Checkout being map number 2. And I like how eUnited picked Clocktower, forcing a little bit more strategy with the game plan being aggression. Ritual, very, very similar. Lots of aggression, but strategy being a very, very much focal point. I think this could go in favor of Elevate if they can start off hot, gain some momentum, and not let eUnited think. But I talked about the IGL power of Kenny Bounce, and he's going ahead and leading these young troops and slaying power and leading by example himself. This could end up in a 3-0 for eUnited, but I can see Elevate maybe winning 1, possibly 2 maps if they can somehow find a way in this series. But overall, I think this is going to be an uphill battle for Elevate.
Well, if it's going to be an uphill battle, that means they need to start out hot and heavy and try to get a map or 2 under their belt early in this series just to try to prolong it against the side of eUnited. Let's move on into our predictions, though, because you said that it looks like it could work out for Elevate. So that could put your prediction up in the air now that you've seen these map picks and bans. Let's go with you first, Jacob. Who are you going to put your hat in the ring with?
Well, one of the things I said, the reason why I said it could be good for Elevate is if they attack quick. They discombobulate eUnited very, very early on and frustrate them. That's where you could steal away map number 1 and really force them on their heels for the rest of the series. But I say could because, yes, it could happen, but a lot of the times it doesn't. You have Powerz, you have TJ, 2 of the biggest slayers from the roster. Then you have Kenny and Demise willing to do all the dirty work in the world and then slay out as well. So I think overall, eUnited has this series on lock, whether it's 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. I think eUnited just has this one in the bag, and this is going to be a good match, but still United's.
I completely agree with most everything you just said. I'm right there with you in the same camp as you. I don't want to mince words a lot about it, and I don't want to make too many bones about it. Elevate, they need to get back on track, but it's going to be very difficult against this eUnited squad. I see eUnited taking it as well. So both of us are in agreement for this first matchup. Curious to see if the chat's a little bit closer than we might have thought they were, or who they are going to end up going with. But for right now, I think that is just a succinct and very profound way to look at it from your standpoint, that Elevate is a tall mountain to climb and it's a rough road ahead, and we're all in agreement. eUnited, they're getting the vote across the board from us and the chat. Can Elevate prove all 3 of us wrong, or will eUnited stand on top in this one? We're going to be moving into our first map of Ritual here very soon. Very close quarters, a lot of tight hallways and corridors to deal with. What do you see is the biggest potential mix-up that Elevate can throw at eUnited?
Honestly, it's just aggression, get in their face. A lot of the times, you know as well as I do, some players might not expect an up A or in certain situations into the right hand. I think Elevate needs to play in those high risk, high reward scenarios in certain aspects. Onto this first hill, I think they could play into that very, very heavily, try to gather some weapons. And if they don't come out on top, they can start to play towards the second half, begin to rotate over and take control. Depending on how much time is left, you might have one more attack before you can make that go through. On From there, I think if they trail, that's when they're going to be able to have to pick it up. But if they get themselves ahead, they can continue to play aggressive, try to get that early man advantage and hold on to it, continue to stagger out these deaths, continue to leave these players on the ground for an extra couple of seconds for when that respawn extends even longer. So that way you can continue to bulldoze these players. If Elevate slows down, if Elevate stops their aggressive ways, I think that is really going to hurt them. And this is already an uphill battle. So getting even hurt even more and stopping your aggression is not something you want. So if they slow down off the gas, that's something I'm going to be looking for. If they start to play as individuals, another thing I'm going to be looking for, it's going to be game over. United will take this series easy. But as long as they continue to put up a fight, they can keep momentum shifting back and forth between the two teams, and they'll still have a chance in this.
Something to take note of as well from last night that I experienced firsthand was I really thought Crack on Rebel was going to have another field day with the Torque Bow on this map of Ritual. They ended up actually playing for that Torque and kind of duoing out Crack. They were trying to keep him away from the power weapon. I'll be curious to see if Elevate kind of has the same game plan. If they're waiting in the wings, willing to throw another member there at the power weapon against the United and whoever they decide to put over there. I mean, more likely than not, you're going to see a TJ or a Powerz try to manipulate that Torque Bow as much as possible to use that splash damage or the straight picks to their best of their ability. One way of the other, we are going to find out who's going to win this matchup very soon, because as these players load in, you can see the Ritual there, the altar. I don't know if you saw it last week, Jacob. Gears actually tweeted out some hints on how to do the Easter egg on this map. You can actually turn the sky a very blood red. It becomes one of the hardest maps to actually play PvP wise when it gets that dark and that red. I mean, you just lose the swarm and all of that fog.
Can we do it in an esports game? Is there a rule against it?
You can do it, but it takes a lot. I mean, you're going to waste too much time, I think, early on trying to get it done. But off to the races, all four players heading toward the altar now. Little 1v1 in the middle of the map. Elevate will be your swarm side. United, your cog side. First team to amass 300 points, and you have to have somebody inside of the hill to continue to garner those said points that you want to keep in your favor. Gary chasing out Powerz. Beautiful job there. Kenny and Powerz going to the backside of the altar. Last two players alive for the side of eUnited. Demise is forced into the battle now, and he's going to try to get some back A's to go for his ability, but he's going to get swiped off the map. Now TJ, all by himself, he thinks twice about this, and he sets up, mounts up there at that middle pillar, and is going to await his teammates respawn and attempt for a retake. But early in this one, Elevate with a good team win here against eUnited.
I just don't like it. They had a 3v1 and they didn't continue to stagger. I said that's one thing I want them to do early on. Kenny's finally going to go down. Revives are there, though. Powerz gets taken out, but Kenny gets a double kill. Powerz gets one, and that's why I said you have to keep the numbers in your favor. Only going to get 13 seconds, giving up 30 over to eUnited. You already see them making that rotation, a possible flank coming through from Powerz as well. If they can set up this pinch and trap, they can gain the rest of the time on this hill and then possibly get the next one as well if they don't spot out Powerz sooner rather than later.
I was gonna say, if I'm Powerz, I'm playing Secret Agent right here. I'm James Bond in No Time to Die. I'm trying my best to not be found, not be heard, not be seen. Oh, there's the Lancer. This is the first shot. Tries to go for the back A. Powerz tries to get that easy pick, but I mean, he doesn't hit either of those first two shots. Very uncharacteristic, and he gets taken down. And with about 3 or 4 seconds before the hill will rotate over to that next P2 point, Kardia will be holding down the spawn position. He's going to rotate back further, continue to hold down this angle. Kenny, he's probably guarding that side and pretty much giving out the knowledge, the call-outs, and the rotations to the troops. Now they have Demise in the front with the neutralization. Nobody's going to be able to pressure across because of the Lancer from Kenny holding that 90 degree. And eUnited, though, kind of stuck here. This is a little bit of a neutralization we see a lot on District. You're having somebody just outside the edge of that hill, just keeping it contested, keeping them from gaining any points. But here comes the flash and dash from eUnited. First shot missed by Demise. They have to pull back now.
Gary going down once, back to back, as Powerz gets 2 downs. A shot over the top from Addvers. That's going to get the elimination onto TJ, and instantly cleaned up by Demise, though. This is going to push these players back on towards that spawn, so they can collect some time, but how much time do they want to collect before they go for the eliminations? Not much. They try to attack that one quick, but because of how long it was stalemated, eUnited is not going to get a massive amount of time. So that's the silver lining that Elevate can kind of look for. It's only 30 seconds left onto that hill. Kenny's going to get the torque bow. So this is where Elevate need to be cognizant of. Yeah, you can go ahead, you can push through, possibly break through because of the amount of members are left, but you're giving up all the space towards your backside. You're using all the utility for the possible next hill. And then for what here? Especially if eUnited can gain control as the battle will continue. It's going to be up to Kardia. He's going to get shut down. You see TJ extended on the other side of the map, followed by Demise. So even though they went ahead and got this hill defended on the side of eUnited, they're going to go ahead and try to press forward. Only 30 seconds really separate these two teams. So Elevate don't have too much to worry about just yet.
Kenny with the torque here, up toward where those frags spawn. He's going to continue to pot shots with the snub, trying to keep one player at least tagged up, keep the information there. Flashes are going to come out. Hill is officially spawned now. TJ and Demise. Flash and the dash. The double shot on Demise, though. Big down onto him. TJ as well. He's going to go down. That's 2 down and dead for the side of eUnited. And Elevate have a good, strong hold here. Very solidified in this. Elevate, though, will have to worry about the close respawn, as it looks like eUnited has officially pushed them out toward the backside of that hill and back toward the altar. Now you have a little bit of a tougher task, because this is a very hard kind of position to flash into. You got to get it up the stairs, you got to get the stuns, and then you got to come straight into the teeth of the defense. They're going to swap spots for just a moment, but Gary has another flash to his name. He's going to be able to get that stun, but he's full red. If anybody's going to be able to get a shot on him, they can get the down, but no kill comes through. eUnited, it's like shooting fish in a barrel, though. That hallway, it's just too thin, it's just too skinny. It's like a Diet Coke. It's all the taste of a Coke in a good CQC battle, but it's only half the living potential.
I love Diet Coke, man. That's my weakness right there. That's where you can kind of set up a trap for me, but trap continues as Elevate just baiting these players of eUnited in as they try to attack. Demise able to get a down and an elimination onto Addvers. Back-to-back as he gets Pushyz. Make it 3 in a row. Tic-tac-toe as Kardia goes down. Gary's going to get taken out, bled out dry. So a team wipe at one point or another, which is going to be good for eUnited here. And Elevate, they had such a good chance with that flash with Gary, but his teammates were not there really to back him up. If they had that bait and switch, that would have been very, very successful for Elevate. They would have possibly get the time. We would probably have a different score lead as eUnited now have a 40+ point lead. Going to start to gather up this time with some flashes, try to create some separation, forcing these players in. Addvers with the torque bow, trying to line up a connection. Nothing going to come through, though, as Gary gets taken out with a frag. Kenny, he does have one more, 2 players, possibly even 3 to have targets as he's just winding it up. He dished that one out, Colin unable. He actually does connect with Pushyz as he's going to stagger out their offensive yet again. So they either have to push in a man down as Kardia goes down, or they have to wait, give up so much time to eUnited before they can even attack.
Well, we're going to see what they can. We're going to see what they can do here as 3 players inside of eUnited are inside of the hill. They're going to rotate Powerz toward the middle of the map. He's going to take this positioning, waiting for anybody to pressure forward. Here comes a flash. It's going to bounce off the backside of that pillar. Doesn't get any stun, though. Here comes the reflash and the retake from Elevate. Wrap shot out from Powerz. Gets one, turns. It's a big body. Second shot gets the double shot down, and now they've got one more player to worry about who's been stuck in a 1v1. It was our player to watch, but it looks like eUnited has kept all eyes on him as he is 1-6 with only 2.5 thousand damage at this point in the matchup. I don't want to say that Kardia is struggling, but he's a lot like me on a big set of stairs right now. I'm telling you that much. I'd be breathing heavy, and it'd be real hard for your boy to get it back up, all right?
I know how you feel, and that's not something you want to have happen, even though it might even seem like it, but TJ's doing a lot of the dirty work. Him and Demise, coming from that former Hive roster, they know how to bait and switch. They know how to play off one another, especially with one of them is playing out of his mind like Demise is so far. He's the brick wall that they absolutely need, just forcing players to turn. He's forcing players back. Great damage. Kenny gets it down onto 1. Getting a little over aggressive, though, as Demise now becomes the target. I talk about all that pressure, and he continues to be the defining force. Finally, he gets taken out by Kardia, though. What a great torque, though, towards the backside. Lines up another one. That's just the scare Powerz off. They're trying to get some footing. They're already doubled up, almost tripled up, and Kenny returns to the scene of the crime. He gets one. He gets number two. TJ and Demise all working together. Powerz gets one. Kenny falls, but the damage has definitely been done as they continue to build on this lead.
You said my man returned to the scene of the crime like he was showing back up to take more souls. TJ has a torque, gets one pick. Now he's going to rotate around. I like that quick switch over to the Nasher. He knew that they were going to try to pressure him. And Demise said, don't worry, brother. I got a frag grenade for him. I hope they take your right hand. I hope they slide up on that corner. I'll get the quick kill on him. Kardia will trade out there with TJ. Kenny holding Lancer, trying to help Demise as much as he can with as much damage as possible. Powerz on the flank now, double bounce, doesn't get the second shot off. Kenny all by himself, has to worry about getting rap shotted here. He's actually going to try to push up into Pushyz, but gets shut down. Less than 20 seconds to go. It's a mad dash on the opposite side of the map. TJ will get there about the same time as two players from Elevate. Little side shoulder shot, trying to get it over the top. Won't be able to get it to go. One down comes through. Second now. They're going to start to clean up these kills one after the next. And this is a beautiful little immediate rotation by eUnited. They want to be there as soon as the hill spawns. They've really been giving up the early rotation to Elevate, but that's because eUnited has been winning retake after retake. And I actually enjoy the fact that they're up over 180. They say, all right, look, let's not fight for that hill anymore. Let's get the early rotation. Let's make Elevate play into us. And it could come back to bite Elevate here because it's that point in the matchup where you're down by so much. You've given up so many points and positions that eUnited can kind of play away from you. They can play around you. They don't have to take the CQC. They can continue to keep you peppered up, damaged out. Next thing you know, you're having to call your mommy to come pick you up early from school because you're feeling a little ill to your stomach.
This is making me feel a little ill to my stomach if I'm a fan of Elevate. They're just getting outmatched left and right. Just doesn't seem like they can do anything to stop the chaos that eUnited has on him, but I'm going to curse them as Kenny gets shut down. Powerz only getting a down on the Pushy before he's revived back up, but Demise gets one. Powerz shut down. TJ with that torque, but I like his decision-making right here. He's not trying to be a hero. He knows scoreline. It's just well outmatched. It's just above and beyond a massive lead as he continues to try to reunite. Playing it slow, waiting for the spawn point to come through. Now he's going to charge up that bow, try to get some splash damage, maybe a connection to come through. Nothing so far as two of his teammates are going to fall, make it 3 as TJ goes down. 18 seconds left on the hill, but that's going to be good. That's going to be okay. It's almost as eUnited didn't even attack because they're going to spawn right back up, rotate around the map, and have a good enough shot to try to get the step hill as they did before.
It's going to be rotating over to the altar. That's where that hill will spawn. They'll come back off the spawn early enough to be able to pressure out here and make this a big team fight. TJ, though, he has the angle given up to him a little bit here. You see eUnited pulling back and up. That's actually allowing Elevate to try to rotate to a position, a 90-degree almost, onto TJ to be able to put a lot of damage onto him. And once again, it's almost like a mirror of our original initial here in this first map. Elevate with a beautiful initial fight and 4 straight kills onto eUnited will hold down this hill, and eUnited's going to have to come off of spawn and attack from both sides because it looks like they spawned straight at the frags. No, they're going to sneak 3 players to the left, and I don't know if TJ's been called out, but TJ, he's going to have a wide angle here across the map. I actually love that. And ladies and gentlemen, I know we didn't stay on him, but I liked what TJ was doing there. He was peppering the Lancer. It forced Elevate to have to use a smoke because he was just basically tapping the trigger. He was using the full advantage of the accuracy of that Lancer to try to add damage, but thankfully for Elevate fans, they had a smoke to be able to use to cloud up the sight lines and the judgment of him in order to get those 3 kills and continue to hold this hill. If I'm eUnited, there's almost no point being here anymore. You just give it up, go to that next hill, and make Elevate start pushing into you.
Hey, you'll be very, very weary of where you get these eliminations as well, Colin, because we've seen so many times this split alone where you get that elimination, player spawns outward, he's first towards the next hill, and gets the spawn point for his teammates as Geary has that fork bow in hand, followed by Addvers trying to rotate around. They know where that next position is going to be at, but they want to make sure they funnel him. They get the positioning. They spot out Kenny with that frag grenades, just revving up that fork bow. He knows Kenny's there. That's going to be a great connection. Kenny gets one off, which means there should be one on the ground up for grabs for Gary as he picks it up. 1 torque bow, 1 frag grenade. He's going ahead and anchoring towards that backline. Almost gets that connection as he gets towards the hill, and they get the scoreline within reach. At one point or another, they were almost tripled up in their scoreline, and now they have a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, they're going to continue to pressure eUnited here. eUnited's trying to throw the same bag of tricks at Elevate, either letting them have the hill or letting them set up and then rotating back into it late. and it seems like Elevate has found a bit of an answer for him. TJ, thankfully, he can hit that shot there for his teammate Demise, who was already down. That's 2 down and dead for Elevate versus the 2 players. It's a straight 2v2 over the hill. Back A from TJ will get one down. They go for the quick revive. Another big body shot there, putting out every bit of damage that he possibly can. Pushyz finally cleaned up. Elevate will have the respawns into the fight first. Let's see if eUnited can continue to live here. Here comes the flash. Here comes the dash. Powerz versus Kardia at the bottom side. A couple of snub shots will help him out, but Powerz not using that movement, not going what I would call demon mode on him as he just begins to flash around and dash around in front of people's faces. He pulls off of that fight, leaving Kardia to his own devices, and they're going to set up for a defensive stand here. Kardia goes to the back lane. TJ's going to be waiting for him. TJ with an up A ability, won't be able to get it. Kardia plays defensively, plays away from him, hits him with a double shot down. Demise and Kenny got to stay alive to keep eUnited in the lead, but there it is. There's the kills. There's the hills, and Elevate, they are right off to the races, over to the torque bow, trying to get the power weapon yet again and start the setup toward that bottom, or that top left hill, excuse me, on your mini-map.
Oh, they converge. They converge. eUnited have a man advantage now because of that. They spot a weak point and they attack, but Powerz, he overstays his welcome on his opponent's side of that 50, but pops over the top. TJ can keeping things going. That's going to be a double. Goes for the third. He has his teammates to back him up. Once they eliminate Gary, they're not only going to get this positioning, but they're going to get the torque bow as well. And the frag. Powerz spawning up, getting those frag grenades as well. eUnited have everything but the kitchen sink for this next hill. And even though they won't win off the Colin, they're going to put themselves dangerously close. And with them being that close, Elevate is going to feel the pressure. They have to play this, and they have to be focused and not make these desperate pushes. But they found a window, a flash to push past and gain control of this hill. But they need to be careful because those frags, those torque bows, they're so powerful now to create some sort of chaos. And he connects with one. That's going to be big on Gary as eUnited are trying to take back possession of this hill.
Best double shot there. That was such an amazing second shot out of that torque bow. The frag was laying in the lap of that third player. They got 3 kills almost instantaneously due to the power weapon play of Demise and TJ with the frags. And there's another pick with a torque. Demise shut them down. 30 seconds left on this. If you wait the whole time, it gets you up to 280 or so. And Elevate, they're trying not to let that happen. They want to push into this position, try to go for the neutralization. TJ's going to move up there to the left hand. He's going to try to get a fight there on Addvers, but he's going to be 2v1 in a moment. He has to make sure he doesn't go down. He's going to get double shot, killed off. And it looks like eUnited realizes that discretion is the better part of valor. eUnited will have 2 players set up here going toward that next hill. And Demise, he has an easy 1 shot and an easy 2 shot. He said, I know y'all didn't know I was laying that trap for you. My man said, I'm about to spring it like my name was T-Pain because I done sprung it.
Yep. Hey, very, very. That elimination push from Elevate was big. It was very good. It was successful, but they gave eUnited that spawn. They're able to traverse outward, be first towards this hill, and set up. So that is a big silver lining and a blunder on the side of Elevate, knowing when to push through versus when to retreat and set up. But this is their chance here, but it gets stuffed. Kenny back A onto the rookie of Gary. I call him a rookie, but it's just a little inexperience that might cost him and his team this late in the game, as his battle's now going to continue. The rest of Elevate have to go, and they're shut down all the same. Powerz, TJ picking up massive kills toward the 8 portions of this game.
TJ with a torque now, and I like this from TJ. They're going to get the call out, and he's going to go to the 90 degree. He's not going to push up. He's going to try to find picks as people rotate into those covers. There's a mark. He's going to try to go for the shot there into the long range. He was already revving the torque, and he wasn't going to wait for that respawn, that revive to come out. Gets 1 pick, though. 2 down and dead for Elevate. They got to worry about 1 more on the backside. It's going to be Kardia playing that Blood Moon Imago. He's going to get double shot down there by Kenny, and now really only 1 player can contest this in time. That's going to be Addvers. Just about 5 seconds left. They've got a flash, they got a dash, but boy, there's a torque bow, and that's going to be in your grass, and that's going to get that kill. They're going to get that hill, and they win map number 1. It took them a while to get there, and they gave Elevate a whole warehouse door open to come back into this matchup, but they end up shutting it down, and I believe that had to be your MVP. There was a lot of times Demise made the right play at the right time, especially those couple of torque bow picks on that next to last hill. 27 cap.
16 objective kills. 16 objective kills for Demise out of 27. Half of his kills were denying Elevate any sort of points. any sort of hold on the hill, sending them back to start. Do not collect $200. You guys get absolutely nothing as he shuts down Elevate. And that was one of those things I was kind of looking at. Elevate to start this season, we're taking teams by storm. But now teams have been watching these matchups, have been taking note and say, hey, you guys are nothing but a ball of fire. We go ahead and bring our fire extinguishers. We could easily put you out.
And they did just that. eUnited, to me, did a really fantastic job of allowing Elevate a few seconds into the hill. They said, look, you can be comfortable in that hill. We'll figure out how to go for the rotation. We'll figure out how to get you out of it just as quick as you might have won that initial rotation. And I think that they did a great job of that for, I would say, the first full rotation of hills. But then there was a big struggle where it was like eUnited wasn't as precise with their utility throws, wasn't as close to getting those kills. There were a lot of times where you could see it. It was 1, 2, 3 kills for eUnited in quick succession where they just shut down the retake of Elevate. When eUnited was struggling, you'd see him get it down, you'd see him get some damage, but you never really saw that kill feed light up blue. And that's the thing that's kind of been the Achilles heel of both the United and the Pioneers this Pro League, which is they can get the damage, they can put the pressure on people, but when they can't finish kills, I mean, they are just, they're having their struggles. They are really trying their best, but it's just nothing's coming to fruition. And the best laid plans, God's still laughing at. Elevate, I think their big problem, their big issue here was that against Rebel, they were able to control the power weapons. And we talked about it for the last 3 or 4 minutes. eUnited, they got, whether it was the respawns to get the next set of power weapons or they fought for them and won them, eUnited controlled the torque and the frags. And they used them to perfection most of map 1.
Yeah, and I can pinpoint at least 2, at minimum at least 2 big moments in that matchup, Colin, to where Elevate, they did a good job and it was successful. They attacked the hill and that torque bow was one of them. This hill was one of them here. They attacked the hill. They eventually got a hold of it. But look at where the spawn point right there. eUnited was able to spawn outward on 2 different hills. So they got the majority. They bled it dry. They die. They get eliminated. They go ahead and get first onto the next hill. Elevate needs to be very wary when and where they attack these hills. So regardless of how successful you are, you're just setting up your opponent for even more success onto the next hill. And that's why I always talk about sometimes you give up a few seconds to gain a few minutes.
And sometimes you've got to get that you got to give up the short-term gain for the long-term benefit. And that's something that, I mean, you've tried to impress upon me and impart upon me. Even when it was all escalation, you'd always talk to me about the extra rotations that players would do, how a team might give up that mid-neutral hill to rotate over and get a set of kills. So then they have a man advantage. They can rotate around the map. They can kind of manipulate the fights better that way. And I think eUnited did a great job of that. Again, they win map number 1 quite handedly. After they gave up kind of a little bit of a comeback there in the middle of the map. It was one of those things where people started to really feel the momentum there for Elevate, and it was almost like eUnited was catching their breath. They came off of the races so quickly that they didn't pace themselves and say, man, I need some water and not an oxygen tank, but I'd like to just put my hands on my knees for a second. Just, all right, I'm ready now. I'm good now. Okay, I ain't got to rest no longer. And they went right back to it. Going into map number 2, Clocktower execution. We know how deadly a lot of these players on both squads can be with a long shot. Do you think we'll see a 4v4 up top every time, or do you particularly believe that one team's kind of got that frag grenade rotation down at the bottom down pat? We'll see some different looks.
Honestly, when it comes to the side of eUnited, it depends on each team. I think Elevated is going to excel more into those 4 up top, the aggressions, in terms of being, instead of spreading their opponents down low, unless maybe you can send Geary a couple of those rounds, try to make something sneaky happen, maybe Addvers trying to get those frag grenades. But I think it just boils down to if you can catch eUnited off guard, if you're going for that sniper, going for an aggressive play up top, if you send that player down low, you better be sure it's a decisive play and it goes with the rest of the team, because eUnited will know exactly how to take advantage, whether they're getting that sniper out, whether they get that first down and it comes into a flex play to where they're instead getting aggressive. They will attack on the drop of a hat, the drop of a dime, and go forward. So you have to be sure on the side of Elevate. And that's why I said this is very, very good on eUnited to pick Clocktower as map number 2 on execution, rather than check out, which we've seen from a lot of our elite teams going against these inexperienced teams at the beginning of the split, where I said, hey, you stray away from that map, you shut down their chances of being able to play into a strategic method. Now Elevate, it's going to have to think outside of the box, outside of just pure aggression in order to take some of these rounds. And even though you can steal away 1 or 2, it's first to 6. You're not going to be able to steal 6 rounds away. You need to play in towards your foundation, which I think eUnited just has a better foundation overall.
You might have to be the best thief in the world to steal 6 rounds away from a team like eUnited or Elevate for that matter. Coming into this matchup, something we got to see from eUnited last week. I wish I could pull up the broadcast and I instantly snap my fingers and have the highlight. One of the rounds, eUnited, they sent 2 players up top to back pillar, and then they sent 3. So it was a host and a double back pillar. But the 4th player, instead of going for frags, when they went to look for him in frags, he was at the truck with Torque Bow almost already. And by the time the guy came out of frags, he had gotten picked by the Torque Bow. And it was one of those things where I was like, only eUnited. Only a team with Kenny Bounce on it would think to do that just randomly. Just, hey guys, here we go.
You really catch people off guard, and that really sets people notice. Now, a lot of these teams might take that strategy, and I said it when Clocktower was kind of first introduced. It's going to take a little bit, take some time, but I think teams will begin to kind of stretch down low, play a little bit more down low into their strategies. You're seeing teams really utilize that trajectory from down low. If you can get a mark, if you can get a call out fast enough, you could throw those frags on towards the sniper, onto each one of those secondaries, even deep enough towards that back pillar. It's just the communication has to be there. The chemistry has to be there to make a play like that come through. Plus, you have to have your teammates willing to back out up top. It's not because you're scared. It's not because you're going to lose the battle. It's just because you bait them downward towards those stairs. So that way you could push together as a team, whether you get a down, whether you get a frag grenade towards the pillars, towards the jails. These are Gears 1, even Gears 3 style tactics that are so prominent here in Gears of War 5. It's just a matter of the situation occurs enough for these players to make it muscle memory.
And now I gotta change gears on you a little bit, all pun intended, and try to hit you with a question, because it's something that I think I've seen a lot more in this last couple of weeks on Clocktower. Before the new tuning was dropped in our laps about a week ago, we saw a lot of times where it was very stalemated out. You still had a heavy amount of magnetism on both the long shot and the Lancer. So as you tried to rotate across that host spot, the secondary spot, there was a lot of bullets still making connection. Since they lowered the magnetism on those 2 weapons and they they accelerated that initial slide speed plus increased the gib range. Is that why we're seeing these Clocktower rounds up top really be accelerated so much? People are willing to take more chances because they feel like they can get away with a little bit more. Is that you feel like they're going to engage that fight?
Yeah, I think the more reps they get under their belt with the tuning, with these real style matchups, figuring out their opponent, what they're going to do, and how much damage they take. Of course, it's aggressive style game in Gears of War. If you're not getting aggressive, you're likely not winning. So to have an extra bit of moment, an extra bit of seconds, that the extra gap to where you can swap, turn across, try to get a cheeky 1-shot elimination. You can swap, turn across, try to get that extra bit of Lancer damage where your teammate tries to go ahead and finish off that elimination. Those are going to become more and more prominent strategies, especially since if you have that back pillar player trying to rush up as well, either get the revive, get that sniper, play the flex, that option style plays where you can kind of do what you want as long as you're on the same page. I think the team that focuses up and takes control of their game, whether they're baiting people in or making that aggressive move, should and will have the upper hand. That's something that we've been seeing, and it's the reason why I like certain maps over others, reason why I want to stray away from checkout if you're an elite team with strategy, because then you throw away for that 1-shot potential towards the checkout, towards those mid lanes, to where you can kind of lean into a map like this, a map like even Tomb, to where you can play it strategic, use your teamwork instead of kind of letting one guy get a couple of freaky shots, I should say.
Well, we're going to see if we get any freaky shots here on Clocktower, and there is a big chance for it because, as we all know, that long shot ever looming up top, there's a chance for somebody to pick it up and put on an absolute highlight reel for us at home. Torque Bow, of course, spawning down low behind that truck. Both teams will have to roll out of spawn and go uphill early to try to take their position. Let us see what they do with it early on in this one. It's going to be a 4v3 up top, and it looks like Elevate's going to go for a flank here. Elevate's going to send one player down low. I think Kenny's trying to turn around and take a look for him. They get the sight on him, but Kenny's been shot up early and taken down. And at this time, it looks like Elevate will have caught eUnited off guard, but Powerz will get the long shot and get away decently healthy. Looking to try to catch somebody here. Maybe a headshot, and he does finally catch Kardia. Beautiful shot there onto him. 3v2 situation now. And I think eUnited, they might try to press their luck out toward the truck to try to get that torque bow.
Yeah, they have the sniper, they have frags. Powerz getting pressed. This is their hope. Even though Pushyz in a 1v1, he's kind of outmatched. He needed to figure out a way to dodge that sniper shot, but in the hands of Powerz, it's not going to be an easy feat. 3v1 though, over the top. He gets popped, the body shot again. Gary's, it's almost nothing you can do here unless you hope for a miracle to happen. Good damage on one of those shots, but getting surrounded by eUnited. A good opportunity in the beginning of that round, Colin. I got to give him A for effort, but just overall, you got to give the execution A to eUnited.
That's one of those situations where if you're going to go with a game plan like that, you've got to make sure that it doesn't just succeed, but it succeeds with flying colors, and it might even overwhelm the opposition. That one kill on Kenny just was not enough. He wasn't able to get away, wasn't able to rotate out of there, ends up getting cleaned up very quickly, and now we're on to round number 2 because Powerz was able to get away with a long shot and get that first headshot there. Powerz, once again, they're going for the long shot play. They're going to send one player down low to pick up the extra frag grenades and bring them in here, and they have paid off in spades. Powerz finds himself in a 4v1. Jacob, take away this clutch opportunity.
I don't even know if I could take it away. I think Elevate's going to take away this clutch opportunity as Powerz is trying to hope for some sort of miracle as Gary just takes it away. 36 seconds, and I talked about it. Those down low frag grenades. The possibility was Addvers yet again picking them up and almost immediately chucking them forward, and that's because Powerz was spotted out. Kenny was spotted out, and that's the communication I was talking about that's absolutely needed. As absolute perfection at its finest for Elevate to be able to pick up those eliminations and continue to keep that seed planted of grenades being a threat down low.
See what they can do here. They're going to actually mark Kenny up. Yeah, I was going to say, Kenny has to stay down there to try to mark out Addvers, let him know that he's down there. Powerz is going to try to get out with the long shot. Demise, though, a bunch of Lancer shots will get the down, and now the kill on the... Okay, and the kill on the Pushyz. My brain's looking up, and I was like, wait a minute. They're going to get 2 with just a straight Lancer damage? Yo, Powerz, come on now, Powerz. Come on now. Come on now. One more time to him. Oh, we got a reaction. Good job by Kardia. That's a great answer, and he gets it to a 1v1, Jacob.
What is going on right here? It's just back and forth. Kardia, the player to watch for the squad, and you can see absolutely why. The stats back it up with the pressure he puts on teams. Flash grenade towards the back. Kenny is now being the aggressor. Trading shots with Kardia. This fight will reset yet again, Colin. Could possibly go into overtime, but Kardia doesn't want to let that one happen, putting that pressure on, forcing Kenny back into the last clips for both of these players. As you can see, the ammo is going to be picked up by Kardia. The position's going to be there as well as both of these players trying to gain some sort of advantage. And the advantage I got to feel goes over to Kenny. He's going to beat Kardia to the truck. So now it's going to be up to Kardia yet again to figure out a way to press forward.
And I like that from Kenny. Pull out the Lancer, add some extra damage as he tries to come into this fight. Kenny knows that Kardia is going to have to throw a flash and try to get into his space. Kardia really has one shot at this. Flash, stun, and then try to get into the hill. Maybe the damaging shot on a Kenny. Kenny stunned for a long time. A couple of random bounces and a try to back A, but it will fail. Kardia with a big-time clutch there. I don't know many people on the face of planet Earth, God's green Earth, that would say, you know what? I got a 1v2 against Powerz, and I'm going to pull this bad boy off. I just don't know many people that can do that there, Jacob.
That was a big kill from Kardia. And that reaction shot on the Powerz was massive. This man really put the team on the back, and it goes to show why he was the player to watch. We talked about his stats, but I talked about it's just the things he does. Yes, it shows up on the stat line, those type of eliminations, but putting multiple players on skates, taking that round away to really try to deflate this eUnited roster. As Kenny getting in towards those frags, he's getting pressured by Addvers down low. He's going to be able to pick him up, but he needs some help from up top to try to get him out alive as Addvers is trying to stall him. Pushyz gets taken down. That's going to force Addvers to make a decision here. Do I go back up top? Do I try to take the 1v1 versus Kenny? He's going to choose the first of the two, trying to traverse, play the team game to try to reunite the 3 players.
Let's see what we can have here as Kardia, Gary, and Addvers have rotated down their side of the stairs, gotten behind the truck. They've given up the long shot to Powerz yet again, who had a body shot angle there onto Gary. Can't get the kill. I think they want to use Powerz as an attempted pick onto Addvers, but the problem is you've got to get somebody close enough to him to be able to get like a body shot or a good spread with an Asher. And that's going to be tough sledding as 2 Lancers. Or you can just find the broken out back window of a friggin' car and take his head clean off. Yo, that Cyclops is proud right now. That Cyclops said, hey, my friend might have killed Anthony Carmine in Gears 1, but I just killed Addvers through a broken out back window. Y'all guys see that? That was pretty cool, wasn't it? That was awesome.
Oh, back to back. He's just finding them all, just like the Terminator. TJ getting the last one onto Gary to tie this round up. And honestly, this is the difference between a 3-1 scoreline in favor of eUnited and a tie game. Those big plays by Kardia, bigger plays by Powerz to really take over that round. And honestly, Powerz has been putting in work with the sniper. And this is where you really got to take note if you're a coach, if you're one of those players, the tendency, how many times he's actually going for it and pick it up versus not. This is where you got to think, sooner or later, he might try to bait that sniper and go for an elimination.
Rolling up to the top is going to be Powerz here, throwing out the smokes, and now a flash. Powerz is going to get challenged this time by 3 different players, and that was a beautiful double bounce and a chunk on the Pushyz. He'll get that first kill. 3v4 situation. Answered back. Demise is down, but Powerz, he's on a tear now. It's going to be a 2v2. Addvers and Kardia versus Powerz and TJ. And I really like the ability of Powerz and TJ to be able to win this. I know it's not as well known as maybe some of the other duos that both of these guys have been able to play with over the past few years. But if they can get a win here, that might just be another notch in the holster, another notch in the handle for these guys, because they are longtime friends and even more longtime teammates, as they used to play GBs nonstop back in Gears 4 prior to Powerz even being able to compete as a 16-year-old. Man was still, I mean, he was a baby basically putting people on the bricks with TJ, but that's another big win for them as a gruesome twosome. They're going to take the lead 3-2, and does Powerz have over 2K scored? Ain't nobody else got a brick? Okay, we got one. Kardia's got a K. All right, thank God Powerz is sharing some of the points in this match with somebody else.
This is just insane the way he's just taking over the game, and it comes down to that sniper play, the way he's just taking control. And that's something that if you give him Powerz, those flex options that we're talking about, that is going to be the result as he lands a body shot back 1-2 punch combo that he talked about as TJ cleans up that down. I almost thought he was going to try to get that one. Almost goes for a zoomer. He shoots up the second one as well. He's going to connect with back-to-back shots. Almost going for 3. 2v2 yet again, and that's been the name of the game. Every time it boils down to a 2v2. Powerz being one of those 2 players, but the separation is there. The teammate duo that completed perfection a season ago, or 2 seasons ago, I should say, looking to close out this round. A missed shot. Kenny is getting pressured. This is the time. Elevate needs to capitalize in the 1v2, but Powerz comes up clutch. He takes out Pushyz. 1v1 situation. Kardia versus Powerz, and Powerz shuts him down. 12, 2, and 4. He's taking over the game, Colin.
Doing everything that his team needs him to do. Powerz is a one-man wrecking crew right now. Let's take a look at this replay. Let's just take it in. Body shot down. Big brick from Kenny saying, hey, man, I need some help. Powerz said, don't worry. I'll take 1 skull. Oh, you want to take a meat shield? Don't worry. I can aim past him up onto your shoulder. My man said no negotiations. You take my teammate hostage, I'm shooting you dead in the head, and I'm putting you downtown, Julie Brown, into the ground 6 feet deep, because I knew you was trying to peek, see where I was going. Ooh. Gary's going to put himself in a hellacious situation and get away with it. I feel like that almost stunned eUnited, but Pushyz is already down to try to give the protection there. And Gary almost was a double kill potential. Addvers, though, here comes the flank. Addvers with 2, evens it right back up. Gary with a long shot. Gary, Kardia versus Demise and Powerz. Big revive here, but they're on the back foot. They're having to rotate out another big set of shots. They can continue to get these downs, but Gary with a back A. Gary with a back A. Both of them big, both of them solid, both of them strong, looking low, so big. My man said, we're not down, we're not out. We're going to get a round right here. 1 round away from tying it up 4-3. United still leads it, but Elevate, they're well within the fight.
If I didn't tell you, Colin, I wasn't watching that round, picking between 2 fingers, it would be a lie. That was a close and scary round for Elevate, but Gary putting on a show, putting on a clinic to take that round 3-4. They still trail by 1, though. One map as well. One is eUnited's lead. I feel like we're in map number 9, the way this one has been going. Powerz going up again, getting that Cypher. His teammates pressing forward. First blood for eUnited. TJ quickly gets taken down, though, by Gary. Powerz trying to go with the rest of his teammates. He gets one. Revive back up, which means nothing because his teammate still falls. Addvers is going to clean that one up. And yet again, like almost every single round before our very eyes, it's coming down to a 2v2.
And once again, Kenny and Powerz, Addvers and Pushyz. Big 2v2 situation. I'm going to get real quiet on you, Jacob. I want to call this out like it's hunting season because Powerz has been hunting all game long. 12k damage, 13 kills, only 3 deaths for him. Anybody that pops their head could find themselves down and dead. Pushyz is going to rotate back. Powerz just using his movement to try to bait out shots from either player. Trying to bait Powerz to just trying to get them out of the open, away from their cover. Still towning down toward that overtime hill, spawning up in just a moment. And I think the big play here is that Powerz still has 7 rounds in that long shot. And Kenny gets a free flank here. He's going to be able to put pressure on both Addvers and Pushyz. But Kenny's going to have to run away now because now that they know it, and they know that they're still basically in cover, Kenny's going to play this defensively. And this is a fight you don't really want to take against Kenny. I don't know if you know the history of Kenny B. Bounce, ladies and gentlemen, on this kind of part of the map, but he ain't the man to mess with. Just ask Karils. Pushyz is going to come back up. They're going to try to 2v1 Powerz at the top side of the map. Powerz finds himself in prison. There's a wide angle taken. Kenny's going to trade out. Kenny needs one more shot, but Addvers again! Addvers again! Back A's go big! Elevate's best friend right now is the down on the joystick and the right trigger. Holy cannolis!
I've always said it for years. When in doubt, back A it out, up A it out. That is going to be one of those moves, the crutch moves in Gears history, and it goes to show Addvers in his historic present do it again to come up clutch. 4-4, and he goes down low. Kenny versus Addvers. You said ask Karils, but guess what? Addvers asked Solars from that season 1 Clocktower flank where he just stuffed Kenny time and time again. And Kardia and Addvers start off hot again. First blood on the Powerz. Down onto Demise. That one's going to be cleaned up. Kenny just gets hunted down by Pushyz as he gets back to back, and they go up on match point 5-4.
What a turn of events here. 3 rounds in a row for Elevate. eUnited, they were in the driver's seat handedly and have not been able to close out rounds in quite a few tries. And now they are fighting from behind. Elevate looks to tie this one up at 1-1 in maps. We will come here to round number 10. Elevate can finish it off. eUnited has to win 2 in a row. See what they can do here. 3v3 with a 1-1 split down low. Jacob, what do you see? Who's got the initial prowess and damage?
So far, it goes up to Elevate, but they actually get stuffed. They don't get the Cypher. They actually get denied. Revives are going to be there, so no eliminations getting picked up just yet. Flashes on towards the secondary. Now it's eUnited's turn to advance. A great shot by Powerz. That's going to get it down. A second one's going to connect. One elimination's being picked up, and it's going in way of eUnited as a second one. Gary is going to fall. 3 in a row. Make it 4th. eUnited tie us up and send us to a round number 11.
Boy, I don't know if I can take much more of this. I'm too fat. I'm too old. I've had too much grease lately, baby. I can't be doing this to myself. I got kids. I got a family.
I'm thankful I came back from vacation. I'm so thankful. Because if I didn't go to Cancun this past weekend, I would not be able to take it. I'm refreshed, Solomon. I've been waiting for a round number 11 since I got back. Thank you, eUnited. Thank you, Elevate, for gifting it to me in match number 1.
The only thing that's fresh on me is my musk because I'm sweating like I'm in the front row of church, and I spent all of Saturday night sinning. eUnited, they're trying to get this long shot in hands of Powerz yet again. Kenny will get a kill on Addvers. And then Addvers kills Yo, that's 2 big dead. That's 2 huge mistakes. Those are big blunders. Those are mammoth mistakes. And Kenny cleans up the last 2. All of that anticipation, all of that build to fall like dominoes to their own team kill. Elevate will fall to eUnited, and Powerz said, thank God for that, because I went 55-5 with 16k damage. They will wrap it up 6-5, take a 2-0 lead. Elevate, they've got to come back. Can they do it right after this? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the middle of our first matchup here in Gears Pro League, day number 8. Elevate really started to take eUnited to task, got themselves on map point, and then gave up back-to-back rounds to eUnited, who are now up 2-0 in the series and are one escalation map away from a 3-0 victory here and to continue the woes of Elevate. Jacob, do you see anything for a light at the end of the tunnel for Elevate?
I mean, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, but these guys are on foot and it's going to take a train to get there. And because right now it just looks like everything that they're doing is just outmatched. United is 1, 2, possibly 3 steps ahead. And that's something I said at the beginning of this series. Elevate, I feel like, took a lot of teams by storm. They surprised a lot of teams who may have taken them off guard to get some of those big wins, to have some of those close matches early in the season. Now that a lot of these teams are playing the same game, getting their scrims, finding their own footing, it's not going to be as easy for Elevate. And with as veterans that you have on eUnited, with the championship caliber, the superstars of Gears Esports, they are going to make you pay each and every inch that you give them.
Right now, they're going into Vasgar, and it's a bit of the horse track we've seen last night, especially last night, actually. It come to fruition to the point where teams were basically just running around the map, just continuing to neutralize hills and staying away from their opponents. Do you think that works in the benefit of Elevate, that they can kind of keep it chaotic? They can't allow eUnited to really set up. They're going to force United to win initials and then either play defense or continue to press Elevate? Or do you see that being something that eUnited's going to use against them? Who do you think that goes in favor for, really, the chaoticness of Vasgar?
Let me just kind of think for a second, because I feel like I'm falling on two sides of that coin. I feel like Elevate's one of those teams that thrives in the chaos. But going up against a team like United, who also can play and be molded within that same chaos, Elevate just has to be careful of overstepping that boundary, of overstepping that line into too much chaos. Because if you step into that line of too much chaos, United has very different methods, different pathways of just kind of slow things down, backing things up, keeping a player back, and kind of leaning in towards that Lancer. On the side of Elevate, if they overstep too much into that chaos, they're going to begin to play as individuals. They're going to begin to play a little bit more separated, and I think that's going to hurt them more than it is going to help.
So you're telling me that Elevate cannot be Rick James to Charlie Murphy and be habitual line steppers? They've got to see the line, and they got to stay behind
their muddy feet on eUnited's couch. They can't. It is not their couch.
Even if eUnited can afford a new couch?
No, it doesn't matter if they can afford a new couch. It's their couch. It's theirs to dirty, and Elevate is not going to dirty it tonight.
All right,
well, be flawless. This is 3-0, I think.
We're gonna have to hope for Elevate's sake and their fandom that they can start this comeback right here, right now, and that they don't become habitual line steppers. Again, that is a big thing to always remember in life and in Gears. When you're going up against some of the best players in the world, if you find the line, don't just keep stepping over it, because sooner or later, they gonna check you. All right, they gonna body check you. They might hit you so hard that you fly into a bar, break a window. It'll be a terrible scenario. All right, it'll be worse for you and possibly ended up on YouTube. Okay, it's to this day, it's one of my favorite things to think about, Jacob. Is anytime I'm getting just absolutely stunted on in Gears, I'm like, I'm gonna end up on Twitter. There it goes.
Honestly, for a little bit of me, every single week, I like to see these teams step up and really dominate. And I love what I'm seeing by United. Don't get me wrong. There's just too many signs, or at least little moments where I'm thinking, man, Elevate, they got this, and then they just fall short. Oh, Elevate, and then they just fall short. In this map, I would like to see Elevate just kind of consistently pull it together. This is going to be one of those maps where they can thrive in the chaos. Maybe they can throw a weapon down, spread out 2 different sides of the map, throw something on the neutral hill on E side of things. I think anything is definitely possible, but I think the ball right now was firmly into the hands of eUnited. They're dribbling far down the court in this game.
Let's see how far they can carry that ball, because they are going to be in a 2v1 here against Powerz, and Powerz is going to try to back up. He's going to try to buy himself some time, maybe get some help from Kenny in the middle stairwell, but Elevate actually sends a player into the middle of the map to try to challenge the 90-degree angle. Kenny is full red. One more shot will get him down, possibly dead, but Powerz is there for the backup. Elevate wins the fight in the middle of the map, and they win the 1v over at B. Elevate should be able to get this as a triple cap domination. They have everything in their hands. All they've got to do is assert themselves on one final stop, and this could be it right here.
Damn, can he get stuffed? He gets stuffed like Thanksgiving dinner come early. Not even able to walk towards the hill. 46 seconds. This is the life I needed to see out of Elevate. My only thing is, did it happen too quickly? Did it happen too fast to where you're not able to replicate it? And plus, you got to think the sides are going to switch. Weapons are going to be down. And by weapons, I mean Boltox.
Just a little bit of revolver action, a little bit of a 6-shooter. Or both squads to use here, unless eUnited just says, you know what, we're put something in Crater Powerz. Come on, do it, baby. I just want you to know that's gonna make me happy. One day we're gonna get it. All right.
Boom shot or drop. What do you want? Or claw.
I really wish.
I was
gonna say I really wish. I know every pro is about to cringe, shake their head, and maybe block me on Twitter. But man, just for one game, just put the breaker mace in the middle of the map.
Oh my god. Do we have a match breaker maces only?
It's not. Neither is the GL, but both of those weapons would just be hilarious at a pro's hand because they're already good enough, and then you give them the guns that are the brokenest guns outside of the claw, maybe, and it'll just be hilarious. Just make for some comedy for me, all right? That's all. Oh my God, Gary is not telling jokes. He's taking skulls.
No jokes, no laughs, all business for him and Elevate as well as they try to push forward. They're going to get that early lead as they capture the neutral. Now it's about staying alive here. Pushy's getting pressured. Kardia trying to be the hero. Gary gets another one as they're going downtown, trying to take hold of the home hill of eUnited. Maybe a triple cap domination if they can win the neutral as well. But another trade's going to come through. Two different battles going down. A 2v1 on one side of the map. Powerz, he's going to bring it down to a 1v1. Addvers going to be the last man standing on one side. TJ on the other. So no triple cap domination for Elevate just yet, but they're going to be able to double up that score line and force eUnited to make some early moves to get this footing right back.
Well, I'm not sure exactly what eUnited is going to be able to do here. They have lost a bunch of fights already around the map, and Elevate doesn't look like they're going to be slowing up whatsoever. TJ, thankfully, gets that back A there. He basically baits in Kardia to that fight. Kardia's still going to be down. He's timing him out here, and it's going to be a 3v2 over at C. Boltox shots from Powerz will help get that first down. Now they got to worry about Addvers. He's going to go down as well. 2-1 hill advantage in favor of eUnited, but can eUnited hold on to it? Elevate, they'll come off spawn. They're going to have another Boltox to pick up, and they're going to have one or two good retake attempts at this because they're still basically doubling up the scoreline of eUnited.
They have all the time in the world here to try to make a push come through before that lead even switches hands. So this one could definitely go down to the wires. See Elevate trying to push forward. If they go early, if they go quick enough, they can have multiple opportunities as long as they don't get triple cap dominated as a result. Kardia gets headshotted, trying to say Pushyz back to back from Powerz. Goes for the hat trick, gets shut down by Gary as Kenny cleans that one up. He's going to stagger that depth to give them as much of an advantage as possible. Addvers now feeling that threat. Pressure is on to try to stay alive, to prolong some time. Teammates just trying to get some Lancer. He gets a down. Kardia is going to go ahead and try to get this round to be prolonged with that neutral. But if you look at the scoreline, that lead is no more as eUnited are come back into this game very, very late as well. So Elevate, even though they're coming off a respawn here, they have to act fast.
And Kenny's trying to hold down that back pillar. Demise is right here with him. They're both going to go down and get cleaned up. B Hill not in favor of eUnited. So 2-1 hills will go back over to Elevate. Kardia is going to go back to the backside of the tank. He's going to try to mount up this angle here. Looks like Elevate, though, is going to begin that process of just rotating around the map away from where eUnited is. But they have now set up a 2v2, both sides of the map. Nobody on that A, nobody on that C hill. If things were to stay this way, eUnited would end up coming away with the round victory as they have the point lead. There goes Elevate into both hills. Elevate, they're going to try to get into a position here to play a little bit of defense. No points going over to eUnited. eUnited fighting back now. 1 kill, now 2. 1 left to win for Kenny. Big body shot there on Addvers. 4 down, 4 dead. eUnited, they will have a 2-1 hill advantage, and they should be able to finish this round off. They will go and tie it up 1-1.
Going the distance, though. Going the distance. Goes to show when it comes to escalation, catching some people off guard. Getting that early initial battle is going to be big for either one of these teams. You saw it in round number 1, how quick it was, where Elevate just kind of wiped eUnited off the map and kind of set forward a triple cap domination. Round number 2 going the distance as eUnited just kind of getting caught off guard. 2 quick rounds. And honestly, for eUnited, this is where I think once these weapons begin to kind of go down, once they're able to put the Lancers down, possibly a weapon towards the tank, maybe that E-hill, that's when these players are going to have to make those big decisions, whether you go left, right, what you do off of respawn, how you play that extra weapon. And I think that's where eUnited have the most chances to really create some separation in this one particular map.
Powerz will go up and pick up that retro, and once again, I think Powerz is going to look to be able to take a 1v or whatever comes at him, but this time he will try to have a better position. This time we're going to have a 3v3 over at B-Hill. Kardia will be holding down that offensive push with that retro down toward that back tank area. TJ is going to continue to try to roll away from the damage. Kardia will have 1 kill, as will eUnited. Kardia will be tagged up a little bit. There's the retro pulled right back out, and here comes Demise as they switch weapons again, flash out into both of their faces. They've got to pick a fight. They got to pick one of these players. They can't keep continuing to spread their shots and their forces. Kardia will be up top, and it looks like Kardia is going to get pointed out here by the player of Kenny coming off a respawn. Kardia will get picked up and picked off. Powerz will now have a 2v1 to worry about going toward the home. Elevate, will they push this, especially with the retro? In hands of Powerz, he'll be able to get a couple of downs early and stop anybody from really pressuring into that fight.
Yeah, you see United, they're just trying to slow down this chaos that I was talking about. They want to play more into their team fire, more into their team play. Force Elevate to make a decision and force it to make an uncomfortable decision. As you see the split coming through, that's going to be TJ really spotting that player off of respawn, which is Kardia, and Addvers on one side of the map going against TJ and Demise, the former duo of Hive. Now a big duo for eUnited. Great shots, downs coming through. Demise is able to get elimination onto 1. On the other side of the map, though, neither team really playing aggressive or advancing forward as Addvers. He's just trying to retreat. He's just trying to survive. He knows if his teammate comes off a respawn, they're going to be back where they were a few seconds ago, ready to try again. And this is where I feel like they need to simultaneously move on both sides of the map.
See what they can do here. Again, Elevate is pretty much stuck here on this side of the map at A because Powerz will still be holding down a retro, and TJ on the other side of the map has gotten 2 downs back-to-back on 1 on each player from Elevate. Just continuing to pressure both of them and force them into a bad situation. And there's a down and an out from TJ. Addvers now has to rotate, or Addvers now has to come back off a spawn. Kardia has to rotate around. He's in a 2v1. He'll go down and dead. Elevate won the fight over at A. I mean, I don't want to say that this was a kissed round. This was keep it stupid simple. Yep. They just played this to perfection, 2v2 after 2v2, continue to win fights, continue to make Elevate make mistakes around the map, and that will be the lead for eUnited. They go up 2-1.
Yeah, it's almost a, not going to say a prime example, but a little teaser of what I said of getting over aggressive on this map. Elevate will thrive in the chaos. I think they need to put that weapon on the tank, or moments like that will happen to where if you're not working as a team in that chaos, eUnited is going to pick you off. They're going to create that separation and slow you down. As long as you allow eUnited to step up just like that and set up with the retros, the lancers, force you into those hallways, this is going to be a continued uphill battle. So for Elevate, you need to probably stack 3-4 players over. Continue that wolf pack in the counterclockwise motion, or clockwise even if you want to. That is Vasgar.
We'll be coming to the round number 4, last round of the first half before these hills will switch up and we'll have a completely different set of circumstances or fights. Elevate will pressure 3 players toward the B hill. What we'll see here is eUnited trying to rotate through the middle of the map. Kenny trying to come up that big stairwell, trying to pressure out Gary. Gary will hit 1 shot. There's the down. Body shot. Misses the second and the third. No decap there at A hill. Looks like player 3 Demise is going to get called out, though. He might go down here. He has to be careful. He's going to have to take that hill in that position. But Powerz, as soon as you take your eyes off him, he's quick, fast, and in a hurry into your face. This is a triple cap domination moment happening, possibility. Kardia here trying to fight with Addvers to get back into that B hill.
He had a good goal.
Oh, and there's a big kill. Demise kind of sacrifices himself for another kill here.
But yeah, I feel like he should have stayed in the hill.
Maybe, but
they had that. Yeah, they had that Mr. Krabs going through. He probably would have got pressed, maybe even contested. But I think it would have forced Elevate into scramble mode. But I will say, I digress, because the United is still in complete control. 2 players there getting pressured. I might have spoke too soon, possibly even cursed him along the way as Powerz goes down. Kenny's trying to get the revives and be a hero. They're surviving though, Colin. They're not out just yet. But I think that's going to be the moment. Gary takes out Kenny. Kardia takes out Powerz. TJ's on this neutral. Looks like he's getting crossed out. Pushyz, he could take this, but he advances just a little too soon, getting staggered out. So all of those great moves I was talking about with Kenny going down, Demise going down, it's just all for nothing as they stagger and give themselves back the advantage.
Here we go to the other side of the map toward that C hill. Elevate having to try to play defense against the respawn of eUnited, but they're going to lose players and that position as well as the hill. 2 kills come through, 2 players left alive on the middle of the map. 1 player is going to rotate over to B, but it looks like eUnited is going to be happy to trade out B for A here momentarily. The position of Kardia is one to be concerned with as he's holding down that cubby. Here comes Kardia, shots there into Demise, trying to keep him back. TJ will hop the cover and almost put himself in danger zone, but he's going to get that first down. Now trying to L-trigger out toward that A-hill. Almost catches Powerz as Powerz slides across him in the middle of the stairwell, but another 3 players up from Elevate, another 3 players down. Kenny hits the shot with a Boltok, and then quick switches back over to the Nasher. There's not much Pushyz can do really in this situation except watches the time tick down and watches Elevate will take a 3-1 lead after the first half. And they will be 2 rounds away from a 3-0 massacre of Elevate. That's the only way I can describe this third map.
Just wanted to see Demise finish that battle against Kardia. There's a little moments they build momentum before the half. 3-1 though, that momentum heavily. And I mean heavily like a 16-pound bowling ball on the side of eUnited here in terms of aggression, in terms of overall strategy. And it looks so much like they're just being led by Explosive himself yet again, knowing when to get aggressive, when to back up. But that just shows the big brain that is Kenny Bounce. You talk about him stepping very, very heavily into that IGL role. Years of experience kind of leading up into this season here to where you're able to lead some of the youngest, most in-charge players in the game, TJ, Demise, and Powerz. And honestly, this has been a different look from eUnited. I know at the beginning of the season, we've had our question marks, but I think those questions are definitely being answered.
See what they can do here. They can find an answer in the second half as the torque bow's been placed down. Looks like eUnited's going to go for the defensive stand here. They're going to mount up backside of the tank. TJ will throw a flashback to try to keep them stunned, keep them off a kilter. Both teams still stunned up. A third flash comes in, but it doesn't make the connection that I think they were looking for. Demise, though, with 1 down. Now TJ with a second. 2 dead over here, so torque will go in favor of eUnited, but the E-hill, the mid-neutral, will be won by Elevate. That'll be Gary killing Powerz, and now Gary... he'll rotate back toward his spawn just to make sure nobody's pressing the D-hill. And TJ will begin to mark out these players trying to rotate back.
Trying to spot out TJ is going to be the #1 job for Elevate here. Because then that will happen. Sneak kills, and he's not even spotted out just yet. And he's going from downtown, from coast to coast, west coast to east coast. Try to defend the hill that is now under siege, or at least seemingly so, as he revs that torque bow. Nobody peeking through. And this is what I'm talking about. Making sure that you don't get spotted out, able to rotate those power weapons around, whether it's even something as little as a shock, an instant, is massive plays that don't go unnoticed as Demise gets taken down. They're getting bull rush. Powerz and TJForce to turn and hide, and I like what he's doing. He's trying to go to the other side of the map to make sure both of those hills don't get decapped. But Gary wins a big 1v1 against Kenny. If he can go back to back here, TJ's getting taken down. He gets the torque bow, but this is a chance for a domination for Elevate, and it's going to be up to Gary here. If he can pressure this fight against Powerz, come out on top, he could be victorious, but Demise just in the nick of time, saving the day. But for how long? As they now need to get control of this matchup. Hills being decapped. eUnited get control of the hill first in order to stay in this game, and they do.
The decap comes through, and Gary crawling around in that E-hill will eventually cap it up for them. And you'll see it looks like Demise will start rotating back toward that E-hill, but Elevate, they're going to pressure right back on eUnited's home hill. There's going to be a 1v1 at the mid-neutral. It looks like Powerz is going to rotate back toward F to try to get shots here onto those 2 players. He's full red. I mean, one more bullet connects, and he could have gone down there, but now he's going to get flanked out. And once again, another 1v1 by Elevate over at that mid-neutral hill. It looks like a change of geography has been the change of fortune for Elevate in this map #3. They are leading this 5th round, and they are well on their way to winning it up over the 200-point marker. Less than 15 seconds to go. eUnited have to get a full set of slays and possibly that D-hill in their favor. They're going to have to go for the triple cap domination here, but with a torque bow kill from Gary, I mean, he's looking to just shut this down right here and right now.
Somebody's flanking. TJ's flanking towards the backside of Cove. But it was a long shot. It was a long shot, but if he can somehow come out on top, Gary's completely keeping them guessing. It's not over just yet. Kenny goes again to try to get the break on the hill. Gets denied there. And like I said, TJ, Demise, big players in the game, but Elevate is never giving up and never going down as long as they can take control. And I like that torque bow play. I like the torque bow going down because I think that's going to give Elevate something to focus on in terms of aggression. But look at Addvers, 14,000 damage, leading Elevate for his squad. And I like it. I talked about his veteran experience and the Addvers of old really coming back. And I think a lot of people this split are taking notice.
They need to get another round on the board here just to get it tied up. And we will see what both teams will do. We're taking a look. Addvers leading the squad, but only 7, 9, and 9. But he has the most damage done for his unit and will continue to really put his team in the best position to win a lot of these rounds based on the damage he's able to output, based on the way he's able to rotate and take these fights. We come here to round number 6. Powerz will be challenging the 1v on the opposite side of the map. 3v3 over at the tank fight. DJ will call out Addvers, and Powerz this time is going to challenge up onto Gary, gets the kill, and now eHill will go in favor of eUnited. The melee comes through. There's the shot punch, but in reverse order. Here comes the opposite side. Addvers trying to bounce in. He's going to be double shot down. That will be the kill there. Kardia last alive momentarily, but Gary will already be back off a spawn. That retro from TJ just shredded that man like he was loose leaf paper in the front of a machete.
That's not something you want to have happen when you're trying to kind of hide, secure yourself, a sneaky kill. You just get retro towards the side. Splash damage now becoming a crucial factor. That one's finally going to net that elimination onto Gary as Pushyz just sneaks past everybody. Keep this round going. Going to smoke as well to try to cloud one side. That's where the spawn's going to come through, but nobody's eliminated just yet, so it's not going to come through. As Powerz back A's another soul, sending Addvers to the Shadow Realm as Elevate's just surviving here. They're not thriving. They're not anything as Kardia goes down yet again. Death's going to be staggered out. You have both Demise and Kenny working together to try to 2v1 Pushyz. Once they solidify this elimination, the triple cap domination will ensue, but they give up the hill just for now as well as TJ, Demise, yet again, their duo ship from downtown going through. Torqueful at the top of the cover, getting that elimination onto Gary, and honestly, fish in a bear, almost even get a team kill onto Powerz, but eUnited 4-2. 1 round away from a 3-0 shutout victory for eUnited.
Just caught a retro charge on stream. If you know, you know. See if I get hit up in the DMs later, because you just got to come and claim it, baby. You got to come and collect. That's all.
Who was it? I didn't even see who it was.
I was going to say, were you not watching?
I didn't see the name, bro. I didn't see who had the retro.
You were like
two different retros.
How many retros are there?
2.
70?
2.
438?
1. There was only 1 actually.
That's what I thought. I figured something was going along right there. I was like, what's my man talking about? Is he counting retros now? Is he out here actually counting retros? What are we talking about here?
I was trying to. I thought I saw a second one, but man, these rounds are going so quick in favor of eUnited.
I mean, I'm bad at math, so I can't hate on you, baby. I can't hate on you whatsoever. I think the worrying thing for Elevate is that they're not getting production out of all 4 players like eUnited is right now. eUnited is 1 round away from a 3-0 victory, and they are going to continue to pressure Elevate in every situation and circumstance. Here will come the 3v3 over at the eHill. TJ this time, a little bit of a trickery strat as he will try to press straight up, but he's going to get double shot down. He was looking to try to pick up an early down to be able to give his team a chance here, maybe with the utility grenades or something along those lines. Demise, though, adding damage here in the back gate apartment, just trying to make life miserable. And Kenny slides over and is now going to hop, drop, and he's going to get both of them. Kenny went,
wow.
My man stepped up in 2 people's face. He said, I dare you to hit me right now.
I'll take the
double dog dare you to hit me.
Oh my God, did Addvers dare TJ to hit him? Because he hit him anyway. He's going to hit him with a triple cap domination as they try to keep this one going. Kardia's in. Kardia's out. Pushyz meets the same Demise. Gary, he's getting pressured, and they're not going to even let him test the club as eUnited close it out 5-2, 3-0, making it look easy against Elevate.
Elevate, they are still riding the struggle train. eUnited, they are still on the up and up. They are ascending to the top of the ranks. TJ 17-7 with 18 assists, almost 20k damage, helping to lift eUnited to a victory here in their series. And this is just not what you would have expected, I think, out of Elevate after those first couple of weeks. This is not the same squad that we were really used to seeing. And I'm curious, Jacob, I want to stick with them. What do you see as their biggest struggle right now? What is the thing that they can't seem to get right in these past couple of matchups?
I mean, they're just counting sheep right now. They're just taking that sleepy time advice and just going straight to rest. But honestly, I think right now they're just getting very, very over aggressive. I don't think they have adapted since their early success. Hey, this is what kind of led us to our early victories, our early close gamings, and they're not pivoting from there. They're not adapting. They're just continuing with the same mold. Meanwhile, all these other teams are continuing to up their game tenfold, and you can see it with Demise being a big anchor, DJ stepping up, everybody playing their part on the side of eUnited. But on the side of Elevate, tell me what other strategies they had in a lot of these pushes and a lot of these rounds other than just trying to get aggressive, trying to get the first blood. So when that doesn't work, they just have nothing going for them.
You know, I'm not going to lie to you. One of the things that kind of, it started to become more prevalent as the match went on, and it was almost making me chuckle a little bit. You remember how in Execution, Elevate was really using the back A to win them a lot of rounds. I mean, they were just kind of hanging out. They said, we'll sit on the pillar, we'll back A as you try to slide into the cubby corner. Tell me how many times we saw TJ and Demise over toward that tank fight just hold their shoulder. I mean, they were just waiting in the wings for somebody to even get close to them to rip out a back A and just continue to apply that kind of pressure. Those are the things that I'm like, hey, man, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. But I really think that eUnited, they had a bigger sword in this matchup, baby. I ain't gonna lie to you. Theirs looked like it was a bit sharper.
A bit sharper, a bit longer, and just really just kind of slapping them down left and right. 300, 224, 6-5. It was a real close first two matchups, but honestly, how many times can you come close? How many times can you just get your hopes up just before it just gets crushed over and over? And I think once it came down to that map number 3, after getting crushed in those first two maps, after getting crushed after those last couple of rounds, that first one was quick, it was decisive, but I think it was too quick. Elevate didn't do it in way of strategy. They just toppled over. But from there, eUnited had very many different focal points, very many different strategies. And Colin, I just like how you just loud and proud, just wearing the eUnited hat. We all knew
Where
this was
did this
going to be a
come
trio.
from? How did this even get
The Stork
here?
dropped it. The Stork just came.
Look, hey, I think it was dropped by God. You know, when you have something that good, it can only be touched by the heavens. You know, it's just got to be hand delivered by the pantheon of immortal. If I had an I Dream a Genie, if she could wiggle her nose and give me one wish, it would be having the same amount of talent as Powerz for one day. That's all I'm at. I think it would break the genie to give me all that power for that long. I just want his talent, 24 hours. Let me go out there and have some fun and win some games. But for now, just like eUnited won their first game, we're going to see who wants to win it more in our second matchup, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a showdown between the Pittsburgh Knights and Noble. Don't go anywhere.